What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shawn Tiberio Show, your online business school without all the BS. I wanted to jump on and record this episode really quick. This might be a short, fast, sweet, to the point one, but I literally just got done with a training call for our Investor Harvest community. A bunch of our Investor Harvest members. If you guys don't know about Investor Harvest, I'll link it up in the show notes. Investor Harvest, where we focus on helping real estate entrepreneurs, real estate investors build a true business and not just teach the ins and outs of analyzing deals and writing offers and that kind of stuff, but really truly taking somebody who wants to really build a business, something that can sustain and really, kind of build a team around it and that kind of stuff. So we were on our weekly call. We have these calls every single Thursday with our community right now. And this topic came up. And as I was talking about it with our community, I was like, man, this is a topic that, quite frankly, everybody needs to hear, not just those that are part of our Investor Harvest community. And it's the topic around why business is not growing. We had some members that, over the time that they've been around us, we've consistently heard the same thing. Like, oh, man, I'm struggling. I can't get things going. I know I can have a bigger business than I have, or I know I can have something better. I can't even get deals happening. I can't even get any growth, right? I take one step forward and 2 or 3 steps back is what it feels like. And at the end of the day, what it keeps coming down to was, and I found myself coming back to the same thing. They're constantly asking, and not just they in the community. I'm talking about all of us. We constantly fall into this trap where we start asking the wrong question. We start asking, like, how do I do this? How do I get that in place? How am I ever going to manage that many team members? Or how am I ever going to afford that? Or how am I going to, how do I do that? How do I learn those skills? It's always how. And I was telling them all that it's amazing what happens when you shift the focus and start asking the right questions. You see, asking how before we ever ask who sets us up for failure. And here's why. We really need to start looking at this. If we want to take our business to the next level, if we want to build a true sustainable business, we can't do it alone. We know we can't. Hell, I can't, right? Got my hands in multiple different operations, run multiple businesses over the years, and not one of them has ever been Shawn Tiberio only. It's always been Shawn and whoever, right? Employees, business partners, business associates, consultants, coaching, masterminds, friends. There's always been more than just me involved to get this to where it needs to go ultimately, or more importantly, and this is kind of the back point of this, get it to the level that we want it to get to. Because that's the luxury. We get to build our business the way we want it to. And we get too trapped in asking the how question. How am I ever going to get it there? I want X, right? I want my business to look like this. This is the vision that I've always had. I want the freedom. I want the financial security from it. I want all this stuff, and I just don't know how to get it there. I know I want it, right? I've got the drive, but we get too wrapped up in that how question when in reality we should be asking ourselves who can help me get there, who can do it for me, who has the better skills, who's the talented one in this, who's the best choice for that. Because we can't be all things. Just like when we talk marketing, right? We can't have our marketing out there talking to all people at all times. We've got to get really granular. Marketing messages are designed to impact very specific avatars. We say things to a certain avatar that we wouldn't say to another one, right? I wouldn't put a McDonald's commercial in front of a vegan that absolutely hates beef because that message is going nowhere, right? And the same's true on this front. I can't do it all. I can't know it all. I can't learn it all. And why this is important, why we really need to focus on the who and not the how in a lot of things, comes down to the how is a paralyzing phrase. When I say how instead of who, what, where, when I focus on how is this ever going to get done, how is this going to happen, it paralyzes me because I'm asking the how for a reason. I'm asking how because I don't know how to do it. I'm asking how because I don't have the knowledge to make that happen. I'm asking the how because I don't understand all the details behind it. And that paralyzes. It stops progress, because that means now I've got to figure it out, right? And even if I ask the how to get the answer so that I know it, that I know how that would happen or how I should do something, unless it falls in my skill set, if I turn that now and start asking, okay, well, how am I going to do that? How am I ever going to find the time for that? How am I ever going to have the, resources? How am I ever going to find the funding? How am I ever going to raise the money? How am I ever going to, pull this off? If that always becomes the primary question, I stay paralyzed. So I've always said that how equals paralyzation in business and stifles our growth. And we were talking in the community today, because we were talking a lot about building more of their expertise, building more of their authoritativeness, right? Really the eat factor when we talk digital marketing, Google, these type of things. We got on that side topic. And a couple of them were like, okay, this makes sense, but I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how I have to post these things. I don't know how I have to put this stuff out there. I don't know how I should have it structured. I don't know how. And that's what led into this. So it wasn't about that they didn't know what they needed to do. They understood, okay, I need to get out there more. I need to put more information about me. I need to do more things, right? I need to really start to look at me as the face of the business and all this kind of stuff. And I shouldn't be asking, how do I get it done? Now I just need to ask, okay, when I have that, who do I give that to? Who do I need to put in place? Who doesn't always have to equal a person either, right? We can say who equals a piece of software, who equals a process, who equals a virtual assistant, who equals a outsourced program, right? But the same also goes true not just from task to task getting done. We had some others that they're looking to expand a little bit. They're looking to do more in their marketplaces, but they just don't know how to do it. Right? They don't know how to structure a novation deal, let's say, or they don't know how to do a subject to in a way that's going to keep them safe. They don't know how to negotiate with a senior transition specialist. They don't know how to talk to somebody that's in bankruptcy. They don't know how to do this, right? So instead of trying to nail down how, what they started to realize was, wait a minute, this ties together here. It's about, I need to go and find out who knows these things, who can help me, who can give me the guidance, right? Who can get me in the right direction. And we started to work through that during our call. We started to work through who are some of the resources. Who are some of the people out there? Who are some of the right next steps that they need to be taking in order to ultimately achieve it, and not worrying about how that they were going to actually get that done. So as I was wrapping up the call, I was like, man, this is something I want to record a podcast episode around, because the big piece that came out of it all was when we take our real estate business, and I'm talking real estate because that's what we do. That's my expertise. That's, kind of where we're at. It's in the real estate world. But the same could be said for any business, to be honest. When you take your business and start to truly focus on it as a business and really start looking at all the components that you need to put around yourself, and understand that you will never build the business that you want to have 100% solo. Like, nobody out there can do that forever. You can do it to get started. It's okay at the early onset, right? It might be you, and that's it. But to really get it going, to really take it to the next level, to really start to achieve the growth at the pace, the revenue, all this kind of the tasks that got to get done, there's just not enough time in the day that if we try to do it all ourselves, we end up stifling the growth, because it just takes so long to get going, because we're trying to do it all. And at the end of the day, let's just get real. There's only so much capacity that one person has, right? So when we step back for a second, we really take the business and we say, let's design the business first. Let's take a look at what type of company do I even want to have? How many deals a year do I want to be doing? How much revenue do I want to be making? How big do I want this operation to be? How many people do I feel comfortable having on my team and managing? Is it one person that I feel comfortable managing? Okay, well, now that starts to answer that question, because now I know I need to have one person who's capable of managing everybody else, but I just need to manage that person. So when we start to break it apart and really ask that question, like, what size company do I want to build? What makes sense for me? Where am I at in life? What revenue goals do I have? What do I want to achieve in all of this? And we can get a clear picture on that. We can start to reverse engineer. And we don't have to ask the question, now, how does that happen? We start asking, who do I need to put in place? Who are the roles? Who are the departments? Who are the partnerships? Right? We can reverse engineer, and we're not getting paralyzed because we don't immediately jump back to, how is this ever going to happen? It's going to happen because I'm going to build it this way. That's how it's going to happen. It's going to happen because this is how I'm going to let it unfold. I'm going to get this person to do this. I'm going to bring this type of person in for this. I'm going to get this program in place. I'm going to outsource to this company over here. I'm going to partner up with this over here. So if you really truly want to take your real estate company to the next level, the question needs to be, and if you're sitting there right now asking, or asking your own self this question, like, how do I start figuring out who is the right person? Because that's a natural question to ask. Shift that and say, okay, who is the companies that are actually helping with this? Who are the people out there that can help me with this? Who are the programs that can help me with this? Who are the trainings that I can go through to get the guidance that I need? Who has the answer? That's the key. It's not about how. So if you're one of those that you're ready to take your real estate business to the next level, you're excited about that, and you know that that's what you want. You're just paralyzing yourself because you are that type of person that's focusing too much on the how side of things and not understanding or not being willing to look at the who. Or maybe you're clueless. Maybe you just don't know, right? And that's okay. I didn't know this early on. I didn't know how to decipher, what team members do I need? What departments need somebody to where do I need to make adjustments in my company structure? I'm not talking the entity structure, but my overarching organizational chart. Where do I need to make moves because I need to put somebody else in that seat so that we can ultimately get to where we're going? Because once I do that, now the how becomes super, super easy. They're going to do it. They're going to be responsible for XYZ to happen, right? So if that's you and you're asking that question, I'd encourage you to, take a look at Investor Harvest, take a look at REI Toolbox if it's more on the marketing side, take a look at some of the other stuff that maybe we have. And if it's not even me or us, I don't really care on that front either. Find the who, find what's out there that can answer that part of it. Because when you bring clarity there, I promise you, and this was the saying that I kind of left them all with as we were wrapping up the call. And a bunch of the members were like, man, that was probably the most impactful thing. Like, that is going to stick with me. And that was, I said, when you take the time to focus on the business as a true business, when you really take that step back and look at your business as a business, and it's a game now of who needs to be where so that ultimately things can happen. When you go to that level and allow yourself to really look at your business like a business and not this hobby or this thing that you are trying to do alone, and you start answering those questions and you focus on that, watch what happens. Because it's amazing. It's amazing what happens when we start putting the right who around. Again, that could be programs, that could be people, it could be systems, it could be procedures. When we put the right who around, the how is answered really quickly. The how is very systematic. The how can happen, and it ultimately gets there. So again, I said this was going to be pretty short. Just wanted to get that thought off my head. Remember who as you go through things. The next time you're faced with that challenge, that question, something new, and you start asking, you catch yourself asking the how, I challenge you. Shift the focus and say, you know what? Let me look at this a little bit different. Who? And I promise you, you will start to see some better growth. Look forward to seeing you guys later on the next episode. And as I say all the time, here's to your real estate success. We'll see you guys later.